evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stat Sports Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me as co-host, Jason Juggling J. Ford, and we have a special guest with us this evening, Gavin Manders, or everyone knows Gavin from tennis, but he's actually going to be doing something a little different in aid of tennis. So, Jay, as we know, Gavin has been heading up the Manders Tennis Management Bermuda organization for quite some time, doing a lot of keeping a lot of tennis players active even throughout the pandemic. But now he's looking to broaden that in helping out a Bermudian who's on the tour currently, but needs that extra help in hand. Gavin, clearly you see the potential that someone like Daniel Phillips has, what he's been able to do over the last couple of years. And what you're planning to do, or what you and some of the tennis fraternity are planning to do, is something very, very important that you guys feel should be supported. What is it that you guys are looking to do for Daniel in hope of raising some funds to assist him?
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, Daniel Phillips is out there, on the grind of the professional. I mean, it's the junior circuit right now, but moving towards that professional type lifestyle. And as you said, us and MTM, we've doing a lot of great works here. We're helping the next generation here locally, and us coming together right now for such a good cause like Daniel is one of our own. And needs the funding to be able to travel around and play these tournaments. Just to put it in perspective for everyone out there, I mean, this guy is 20-3 on the international stage. I mean, it's very hard to put that into perspective of what he's actually doing right now. Like nobody, I don't even, to be honest, and other than Flora in adult, but in juniors, I don't know of anyone that's like moving on this path like that, who's 20-3 on the international stage. He's only played 5 singles events and 5 doubles events, and 359 in the world. The majority of the players that are in these rankings they're averaging 20 to 25 tournaments and events. So, he needs help. It requires funding to be able to travel around. As someone who was in tennis academy, who my parents, were able to get me out there to be an academy, that's one thing. But when you travel, most people don't understand that the academy is already paid for. That when you go to travel, you then have to pay the coach for where you go stay, for the tournament, for the travel. What you've paid for your academy does not count towards any of that. So, that's where this type of thing and this type of funding and this idea, and I was going to run it. We're running May 24th to really come together and raise some money for him. And he needs it and he deserves it, and he's putting in the work, and we need to come together. And I hope that I can help do my part.
So you're planning to run the full Bermuda Day half marathon, then?
Yeah. So definitely going to be one of my more challenging things that I've done. I've ran it. I think this will be my 7th time. I ran a relay before to raise money for Davis Cup. So I haven't really been training or anything like that, but mentally I'm in a good place, and, I'm going to get my runs in, and I understand what it entails. I'm not trying to go out there and break any records or anything like that. And if it's for somebody who, I was training Daniel when he was 7. I still remember to this day when we'd be going on long runs, and he'd be like, "Uncle Gavin, my legs hurt." And I'd be like, "Come on, man. You want to be the best, you got to fight through it." So if he can be out there and he can do it, I can go out on Bermuda Day and go through some pain to make sure that he has the opportunity to travel.
Sure. Jay?
Well, first thing is, Gavin, I want to salute you. I definitely want to salute you in this effort, because it's what's needed. It's not, sometimes you just can't wait for somebody else to do something. We just got to say, you know what, we have to do it ourselves.
Sure.
Before I get it more about Daniel, do you have any side bets with your cousins? Because I know your cousins like to run the race too. I mean, I know they might have been training behind the scenes.
Some of them might be, none of them want that smoke like out there in that heat and stuff. They may be, they're all the top athletes, but that's a different animal out there. You got to be willing to go through some pain, and they're not in that frame of mind. From my understanding at the moment, if they hear this, maybe it changes something. But even so, I mean, Jacon's ran it once and he just about made it. He's in more like gym shape. Trey is a good athlete, but he ain't never ran no distance like this. Sergio, but Sergio does a lot of running. Traditionally, I've actually beat him in the race, but he would definitely probably beat me if he ran. I'm not really running for a time, but I'm glad that you mentioned that because I'm actually going to hit him up to see if he wants to come on board.
Yes.
With this, because at the end of the day, like if you check it, and it all happened organically. I didn't like plan this way out and say, look, this is what we're gonna do. Like I was gonna run it first. Like it's on Bermuda Day. There's a bunch of Bermudians coming together for somebody away because it's very hard to get funding for individuals from corporate. And, that's something that a lot of sports struggle with. So I figured, I mean, why not get all of us that are on, a similar path, similar passion to come together. His mom is working so hard to keep him out there. And as any top athlete, and you guys have had a lot of them on here, this is a grind. And the money is tough to keep it going. It really requires everyone, and they do have support from others that, as we get further into this campaign, his mom will come out and maybe some of those names will come out. But we really just need to come together for somebody who's doing something special, and all of us have a passion for it. We can be out there and run. It's a good opportunity for us to, get some fitness in for the kids, get them in an environment where there's pressure, all that noise. Like, some may be like, oh, you just got to make it a no, because what other situation could they have where they're going to run in front of like arguably 3,000 to 4,000 on each leg, and they have to go through that. And while doing that, they're doing that for someone who's out there literally competing against the world. So it's like Bermuda against the world. We're out here, and, it's just a beautiful thing.
No, good, Jay.
So let's get to Daniel, because I think we need to put something in perspective. You mentioned about his international record, and it's one thing that we suffer with our national teams, whether it be football, whether it be cricket, is the ranking system. And a lot of people don't understand. A lot of times with the ranking system is based on the amount of times you're actually playing.
Yeah.
You can even have a loss and they even get a higher ranking because, you're active. So just tell us the importance of actually playing these tournaments. And do you have some type of idea what's the type of money you're looking at per tournament?
So it would range depending on where he's traveling in the world. But in essence, like I told you, he's played 10 events, 5 singles, 5 doubles, and he's 359 in the world. I went and did some research within the rankings, and a minimum of 20 to 25 events is the people kind of around him. You're going to get some anomalies in there, but in general, I would say roughly between 5 to 10,000, depending on where in the world that he's going, because you're talking about coaches boarding. You're talking about him. He's still 17. You need the boarding, you need the coaching, you need the travel, food, and then hopefully, if you get to a tournament where there could be another one, like when he did Puerto Rico, you can kind of cut some of them costs. Maybe you meet some people and you can stay with somebody, but our aim is to raise 10 to 15,000, which should hopefully get him through this next tour to go through El Salvador, Guatemala, and maybe Bolivia. It's very important to get out of the U.S. to play these tournaments as well, because, it's so saturated within there. So if you play a grade 4 in the U.S., it's like playing a grade 2 because all the academies all around there. So like really getting out and getting to play in other regions and other places, which is similar to what we do in Davis Cup, is so crucial for the development of the players, so crucial for them to be able to get the ranking. Like you said, if Bermuda was to go out in like a cricket and play some big nation and lose to them, they could actually still move up in the rankings. Within tennis, it's a point system. So you get points for every time you go and play a tournament. There are grade levels for the tournament. So each tournament will have a specific grade. Like, so if you win a grade 4, I believe it's 60 points. If you win a grade 3, I don't know the exact number off the top, but it's around 120. So to get to these events, you got to travel around, pick and choose them according to where you are in the rankings, because you still have to be qualified for them. You don't want to go travel to Bolivia to play 4 qualifying matches, and you could possibly not even get one chance for a point. You want to make sure. So even within the scheduling, this thing is like, there's a week to week, like moving parts. So like when he went on his first tour, obviously we believed him, but no one knew he was just going to go win 2 grade 4s back to back. Like that for a Bermudian, that's just unheard of. First of all, we hardly ever win 5. So, what he's doing, like a 20-3 record on the international stage, as somebody who's been out there, it's very hard to explain. He still has another year, which is why I ended up making this push, because if he has the opportunity to play in another 6 or 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 events for the rest of this year, which includes singles and doubles, he truly has the opportunity to be top 100 in the world. And if he does that, that means like he can play in junior Grand Slams next year. Like the Australian Open in January is not like something that's not possible for him. Like it really is. Don't get me wrong. He's going to have to like really crunch down to be able to make that happen. But if he's showing the promise, I don't understand how we can't come together to like, we have so much money here. And I understand we're just coming out of a pandemic. There's a lot of other moving parts with that. But like the way I see it, we got 5 relay teams, 4 and 3 full runners. Let's say we had 4. That's 20 people. 20 people raise $500. That's $10,000. You know what I mean? We spend that on a family dinner. So, putting things in perspective, if we can choose one family dinner to help someone who's dedicated their entire life to putting Bermuda on the map, I really think that's something that we should be able to do.
Yeah, and keep in mind that first tournament, he had to go through the qualifiers in order to do so.
Correct.
Went through the qualifiers into the main draw and actually won it, and got the second one. He got an advancement into the main draw, albeit he still had to play the top seed right out of the gate. So yeah.
And this is a part of the grind, right? So. For me, it's just where I am in my life, just trying to make sure that I do my part. I've been there before. Like I said, my family, I was blessed to be able to go to tennis academy, but I wasn't able to go play all the tournaments because it was like, well, we've already paid for you to be there. We didn't know that it was going to be like another 30, 40,000 for the year if you really want to be something in the world. And, we're just going to do our part. MTM's going to join in. His mom has a temporary charity number. So this is all above the table. This is all done in a under the charity. We're going to come together, and hopefully this is also a blueprint for the future for things that we can do for others. Hopefully this, come on, it's Bermuda Day, Bermudians for a Bermudian. Like this organically happened. This wasn't planned like that. And here we are on, sports talk in Bermuda. And I think if we really can come together to do things like this, if we get a bit creative, like I said, it doesn't have to be a big corporate that just does the 20. We could get 100 people that do $100, and then you know what I mean? There's many ways to get there, and we're just MTM movement. You've seen all the activity we've had. I figured we can do something to help him, and he's a part of us anyway. I've been coaching him. Sam Mabry's his main source from back all the way back, and who's given him this foundation. And I was obviously helping through the way up at the temple as well. But he's an MTM kid as well. And, here we are trying to do our part.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more with Gavin Mendes in the bid to run the Bermuda Day Half Marathon in helping to raise funds for Daniel Phillips. We'll be right back.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this? We're featuring a range of remarkably effective household cleaning solutions made with ecologically sound ingredients and pleasing fragrances from Ecos, a company with over 50 years' experience producing plant-powered cleaning products. The founder was a veteran chemist in the cleaning products industry and started up Ecos as a response to the harsh chemicals he had routinely encountered. Try Ecos non-abrasive cream cleanser, vinegar window cleaner, and in spray bottles, Orange Plus and Parsley Plus cleaners, shower and floor cleaners, furniture polish, and stain and odor remover. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Welcome back. Well, when Daniel was here last year, what did you see different in him that you now see him put into his game and have these very impressive runs to start the year off?
It's just in his approach to when he's on court. He's still a silly little one off the court, as those ages are. But when he's on court, he's really focused. At that age, you don't traditionally see that with such a sharp focus. And at the end of the day, the ones who work the hardest, listens the most, and are focused within their craft and are consistent with that will see results. So for me, it's his razor sharp focus when he's on court that will show that it will kind of turn into wins eventually. I didn't know that he would do what he was going to do. I obviously believed in his abilities, but coming off the cracked ankle as well. This is another thing. This guy's just coming off cracking his ankle and then comes out the gates, and maybe it was good for him mentally for the rest. I've been through that too. But I would say if anything that stands out to me about him is when he's on court, he has a razor sharp focus about him. He had a lot of that growing up. Sam Mabry had a big part in that, just keeping him focused because he's always been, we're still children growing up through that part. So you still have that side, but you can teach someone how to really be focused when it's time to be focused. I think that's something that would take them a long way.
We have a request for the details of the fundraiser. Can you just give more information about the details of the fundraiser?
Yeah, so you can reach us on info@mtm.bm. Like I said, it's under a temporary charity number. The charity number is 2136, and through info@mtm.bm or 591-4131. Those are my numbers that I'll definitely get you into the proper contact with his mom and the MTM who is leading this specific one. We anything from $1 to 50 cents. It doesn't matter what it is. We're all out here as all the top players in Bermuda running it. I won't name them all off now. I think once we do a little piece maybe for the website, I can name them all. There's quite a few of them, but definitely thank you to them. But that's the information that you can contact us, and we'll get you the necessary ways to be able to put any money forward.
Info@mtm.bm.
Info@mtm.bm. You can also message me on 591-4131, and we'll make sure to get all of that sorted for anyone who's interested.
Sure. Jay?
All right, guys. Now, maybe one of you guys can help me out with this one, because I know we get to a certain point where our government is able to fund elite athletes, but I know he's young. So is there an age limit that you can get funding from government regarding an elite athlete, or what does it become to be an elite athlete? Because I'm thinking what you're telling me right now, Kevin, he's an elite athlete at this age within the world itself. But does that meet the criteria here in Bermuda as getting funding from government regarding an elite athlete?
Well,
so there's ways, Daniel. Oh, go ahead, Daryl.
The elite athlete funding, it does come from government, but it's through the Bermuda Olympic Association.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Daniel we're putting forward for him to get under there as a C athlete. That is through the BOA. The small funding that they have for elite athletes within sports, there is a junior grant that there's usually one athlete from each sport that is possible to get that. We've also put that in for Dan, and probably in hopes that he will get that with how good that he's done. So a few other ones that through the time that we work on, is nothing, at a scale at this age that can put him in position to be able to continue on, on the tour that he's on and continue up with the funding that's needed. But there are small things. There are things that I think, when we start to have more of this, that we can look at and try to find more avenues that we could be of assistance. But the answer to that is just with those few things at the moment, through few avenues at the moment.
I'm just thinking about it. It's amazing because, we've all been, over the last year now, probably been spoiled. Last 2 years been spoiled with Flora, right? But we've seen the support that she's been given through family and the likes, and even these grants or whatever. What she's been able to accomplish. And now you actually could see, once upon a time, it's like before Clyde Bass went to England, it's like, can you imagine a black guy from Bermuda going to England and playing football? But then when you see it, now it could be, we can achieve it. This is like the same type of feeling you guys in the tennis family?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, you had, Trey, who's done, myself, who had done some good things back then, but without really the playing the tournament. Someone like a Trey Mallory, who's been doing very well. Tariq had done well, but for this specifically, this is a different level. He's 17 years old, got another year to play in 18. He's like, even if he ended the year at 250, 200, he still has a total another year to be able to go and get his ranking up. Like, I think Trey finished his career, which was cut short by the pandemic. I want to say like around, like his highest ranking was like 496 or 500 or something like that. And that was at the end of his 18th year, or mid to end of his 18th year. So the answer would be yes. This is something that, truthfully, if we don't all come together, he could get to the point where he could still play for the UK. That's not something that, I know that his mom and him are very want to play for Bermuda, and that's the route they're looking to take. But if his ranking gets up to the top 100, he would literally be the first or second ranked player in the whole United Kingdom. So, then things open up in a different way. So that's just to put things in perspective. So we, for me and someone who, understands his path, and, Bermuda is a big part of his, who he is. We hope that we come together enough to be a part of this journey. Like we want to make sure that we help him be a part of it, so that, because it's special for us. It's not just special for him. When athletes start transcending, the small countries and the small barriers and the limitations of what we have, and they start being able to look at other areas, that's when we really need to, we don't have many things like that. Flora could have been one of those, I'm assuming, but we really do have a special case right here, and I'm going to make sure that I do my part. I appreciate you guys bringing us on. I know that we're hoping that we'll be on again at some point, because this is just the start of getting the word out with the fundraiser that we're trying to do. And is only going to be one of many where we're going to continue to push and try to get the word out. So the answer is yes, man. He is a special case, and he requires special attention.
Mm-hmm. Looking at, because you've already indicated that the number 1 and 2s in different age groups will be doing a relay. How easy was it to convince them to be a part of this, because they could be the next one to run this course? Not the running course, I'm talking about the annual course.
So, truthfully, with the relationship that I have with all these guys, it was very easy. It happened very fast, organically. It started with me, and it was just like, what, guys, why don't let's get some teams together. Let's run a relay for Dan. I don't think they fully know as kids at the beginning what we were really getting into, but the truth is, it is a blueprint for them. And Daniel, and his mom is very big on this, and which is special in itself, that she's also creating a blueprint for the next, to show people what it takes for the next ones to be able to do this if they want to go down this path. Daniel Phillips was pulled out of Somerset Primary to go to homeschool when he was in primary 5 or 6, or I can't remember the exact. There are things that needed to be done. There's the amount of money and budgets and what it took So they are being a part of something that is also could help them, just inspire them to want to do that. And also they're doing something that could end up being one type of fundraising unit that could help them in the future. So, you know, it really is a special thing all around.
Jay?
No, you just said it just at the last part right there. This is something that could be done annually to help the next one that's coming along and being a part of it. I mean, it gets them, it shows them, the little ones who are coming up now, that you have to put the work in, and you know, and it will come back tenfold. You know, a lot of times that, you know, they think that it's just going to happen. No, you got to put that work in, and I'm glad that, you know, you almost killing two birds with one stone, because you're raising money, but they're also getting the fitness in there too, right?
Yeah.
And especially that day is normally a humid day. Day. So
yeah, I mean,
I don't want to scare you, Gavin, because I don't want to scare you, right? Is it coming from the west this year, Earl?
Yeah, it's coming out of Somerset. Yeah.
Oh, Brent House Hill. Yes.
Brent Out Hill. But you got water lot before that.
That's a long hill.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you know, the race actually starts half hour earlier. Well, so the person starting the race has a little more of the coolness. That person doing the second half of the race for the relays is in for, you know, but they get the fun part. They get to run down Front Street all through town, where, you know, where thousands congregate, you know, for the long day and so forth. So, you know, some of the pain is erased. He clicked off. Some of the pain is erased. You know, as you start hearing, "Come on, Jason, you could do it," and you know, if you still got your faculties, yeah, that's how it works. But you know how some people miss those water stops.
Don't do that.
Yeah. But Gavin,
sorry about that. I ran out for a quick moment.
Not a problem. But you've been doing a lot of different type of training of late, but that's more personal than anything else to keep yourself in shape. How do you think what you've been doing for yourself will help you throughout this 13.1 mile race?
Well, quite honestly, it hasn't been the same type of training regime for me, because, you know, I'm not the guy anymore. This year you have Daniel, who hopefully will play for us this year, Davis Cup. You have Trey and you have Tariq. My training has been specifically geared towards double, so this is definitely one of my bigger feats that will be me running this after. Not really, because normally I don't really train for May 24th. I use May 24th for training. I use it for mental training. I use it for, you know, those type of things. Whereas this is just going to be me just doing something that's bigger than me. That's just what it's going to be on the day, and it's going to be a lot more painful than what I'm used to. I will get some runs in before, but like, honestly, I'm just not in the same physical shape, but I am in one of the best mental states. I am eating in some of the healthiest that I've ever done. I'm almost fully plant-based. So I'm not really worried. In essence, it's 2 hours for me of a slow and steady focused fitness session. And it's for something, if Daniel can be out there training every day and dealing with the mental grind, I can go out for 2 hours and take, you know, if my kids can go out and they can, you know, put their all into their relays to get their fitness up, I can do this, and I still enjoy Bermuda Day as a whole. And yeah, I mean, it's fitness, it's wellness, and it's good for me, so I'm not too worried.
Sure. Any final question, Jay?
No, man. I just say good luck on the endeavor, and obviously, hopefully, once you come back on, we get more information. And I'll talk about some more of those guys who will be running. But Earl, once again, if you get a chance, just post all the information so if people could definitely pledge and get their money to these guys. Because
yep, and I'll send over to you, Earl, the exact charity number, the account information, the Sarah Fellows and Daniel Phillips. I'll get all that so that they can look on Island Stats and see how they can do it in their official capacity.
Sure, I'll put it into the story that we have on the show. So yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay, so you can just forward that, and I'll get it, and then we can just drop it in. Okay. Good luck.
I'll put all that on. Hey guys, I appreciate you guys having me.
Not a problem. We'll probably have you
no
again
such thing as love, man.
Yes. see if we can get Daniel on as well, because I know he'll be excited the fact that you guys would be participating for him, and he'll be out there playing for you. So that's
yeah. Maybe we could get that. Maybe we could get that Wednesday before. If you can find a hot spot for us in that Wednesday before the May 24th. We get Dan on too.
We'll see what we can do.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Appreciate you guys.
Okay. We're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by the interim head coach of the Bermuda national cricket team, Cal Waldron. We'll be right back.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seen this?
Back in 1995, a pair of entrepreneurs working in their garage with essential oils began to realize the potential of organically produced body care products. Now, in a 56,000 square foot facility, EO products are shipping to millions worldwide, an inspiration to aspiring family businesses to be sure. EO products were the first in their field to follow the quality and safety guidelines established for organic foods in their production of high-end organic body care products. This month we're featuring EO Lemon Coconut Lotion. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Welcome back. We are awaiting Mr. Waldron to log on. Jay, yesterday the Bermuda Cricket Board announced coaches that will take over the senior men's national team for upcoming fixtures. Obviously, Cal will be the interim head coach with Reggie Tucker, Ricky Hill, and overseas coach. Interesting quartet, you'd say?
Yeah. Did it catch you by surprise? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what.
Okay. When I say surprise, the quartet probably was more of a surprise. How's that? We've known that Cal and Reggie has been around this for a minute.
That's the program, yeah.
Ricky, vast experience through the years, but I don't remember him being around the setup over the last few years per se. And then I don't have much information on the
Elliot Wilson.
Elliot Wilson, right? Because when I first saw Elliot Wilson, I was thinking Elliot Wilson. I'm like, oh, these boys are gonna be fit. That's the first thing that came out of my mind. I said, you brought an ex-PAC trainer? That made sense to me because Cal Waldron, PAC, I'm thinking, this. Oh, Cal's brought Ellie on to and then you put the brakes on. It's like, no, not him. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I have to do some homework. I will say I do have to do some homework.
What would be a major concern right away? I don't know. I mean, you and I had a chat, but I don't think I brought this part up in our chat. Was the fact that we're bringing in someone, but what is the cost of that?
So
you know,
I'm glad you said that, because that was going to be some of my questions regarding hopefully when Cal comes on, because of. I mean, I might as well say it now, because we'll ask him. One of the things that we lack with our national cricket side, with our national football side, is getting amount of games,
mhm,
right? Getting amount of
mhm,
games, and we all know the first thing that comes out, finances,
mhm,
the money,
mhm.
risk reward per se. And we're talking about these two commitments that are coming quick and fast. Like, these
Mhm,
are fast.
mhm.
So my question will be, and hopefully, Cal, I don't know how much you'll be able to answer, is that what chance do we have for the boys for training camps and stuff of that nature? Because it's not they're gonna get up and running. They need to start running like yesterday, because all these other teams that we play against, and it's unfortunate because these other teams have probably been together for the last 6 months,
Mhm, mhm,
playing one place or the other.
mhm,
Where we seem like after every tournament we finish, we go quiet until we figure out that we got another date. Oh, okay, so 6 weeks prior to that, we want to come together.
mhm.
Where these teams are playing. So, yeah, you got four coaches. I don't know. I mean, it all depends, and it all depends what the international coaches bringing to the table. If that's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
really
I guess
nice.
one of the things we want to know is what role will he be playing?
Right.
Um,
Because there's something that is really needed, and he has an
mhm,
expertise for it. Then okay, you got me. You still me.
right, right,
You still
right.
me.
Yeah, so clearly, I know when you start talking about administrative stuff, I don't know if the coach can answer that type of stuff, but
No, I get
um,
that,
but clearly,
but
take.
he won't want a wish list too, though, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, who's gonna take this particular job at the 11 hour and 30 minutes into preparing a team for international play, and a league hasn't even started yet. So we're still fighting that demon where we haven't even built a bowl in the league. Where are we getting these players from? Are we picking the same players? Are we picking new players? Where do we turn? Where do we face? Where do we go?
But hopefully, be able to shine some light on that, because I'm baffled. Because up until the last couple of weeks, a good bit of these players have been playing football too, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but just update our listening audience or our viewing audience what those commitments are, those dates.
Yeah. Well, they have. They will be playing in Uganda. Is it Uganda? Yeah. I'm trying to find it real quick. Upcoming commitments. They have June and July, or July and August. Yeah, they got the ICC World Cricket Challenge League B 50 overs tournament in Uganda. That's in June, and then of course July/August they have the Americas qualifiers as well. So we come out of one thing and we're right back into another, and it's important that we start to really hone in and keep on top of the Americas, because that's our pathway into the next round of things. We saw that here, what was it, 2020, 2019?
Yeah.
When we finished second in the tournament and advanced. Unfortunately, things didn't work out when we went away. Again, like you said, we qualified and everything came to a halt. And then all of a sudden, before this tournament, we're trying to rally up guys to do it all over again. And that's the unfortunate part about the national level. We seem to have this sort of way of doing things that don't always work. I mean, if we use the model of 2005, remember that team started training in 2004, and trained and trained and trained and trained and played and played and played
Had
and
a couple
played.
of camps too. Had a couple of camps.
Yeah. and it worked out because they had been preparing for that tournament for that long period of time. That model, it took a lot of bravery on the part of not just the players but the board themselves to find the funding to allow that to happen. I think at that time the on-the-field cricket was really, really good, but it was that trying to come together for the national team, and that was the struggle. So,
am I correct in saying these next two commitments are 50 overs format?
I know the first one is.
Because I'm also concerned because we haven't played the 50 over format now since when?
2019 was the last time.
So, and then our cricket starting the next weekend, is it?
Is it? The cricket board hasn't.
Yes, they released I want to say yesterday, the day before.
So, cricket board?
Yeah.
They released it to who?
Well, yeah. I saw a letterhead on it. So,
but they send it out, and the biggest stakeholders that they want to come out don't know about it. You're gonna wait until Monday or Tuesday, probably wait until Friday to tell them.
I'm just saying this is gonna be this is Cal. But once again, it'll be interesting to hear from him and what's the intention, because once again, I'm even looking at interim. So that means we're still searching or possibly searching for a head coach, right?
Yeah, well.
And that's something that he probably can't answer either, right? That's something that would probably have to come from the executive, right?
Right. I have been reliably informed that Mr. Wilson is married to a Bermudian and actually lives in Bermuda.
Okay.
So that I actually
that cuts costs. Cut costs.
That's probably why.
Hey, cut costs, man. Like, I use all our resources, man. Use resources.
What they say, you got him on the cheap.
Hey, man, it's on the island. Let's see. I'm glad information like that is, transparent. You get to understand a little bit more, right? And that's something that I know, having talks with former coaches and former presidents, that's something that has always been an issue, just trying to find other resources with local ties. Because you see the countries that we're competing against, that is the top of their game, right?
Right.
I think we're probably the only country left in the world that we have probably 100% Bermudian cricketers, right?
Yeah.
Bermuda, for the most part, when we was playing teams like Vanuatu and all these other countries, we're like, okay, does anybody from Vanuatu actually play?
They give out passports, man.
I mean, yeah, and so I'm glad that we are tapping into whatever resources we have here on island, and it's gonna be interesting because just not to get off subject per se, but having a conversation with another former player, talking about some of the couple of guys that in the evening league that are looking to play for, I believe, Bailey's Bay this year. And having that conversation was like, man, these guys are good. Foreign workers that are here on the island. And we've had this conversation before about the level of our cricket once the police withdrew out of the league. Right? That competition that was provided on a weekly basis. I mean, done so many things, not only for us in the community, Bob. I'm just talking in the cricketing sense. Pulling resources. Then we got to find out afterwards. Well, not even saying find out afterwards. A lot of those guys end up making our national team too, right?
Yeah.
Our most successful ICC teams. Look at the names.
We're headed up by people without the Bermuda passport.
Yeah.
So with the ICC changing the rules now of people representing a country that they're actually in the country for, I think it's 190 days now. You can then represent the country. So that's an opportunity for the guest workers here longer than that period of time, there you go. If they're good enough, if they're quality and they're playing cricket, why not? It can only improve us. Yeah.
Obviously, you will get the pushback. You will get
Oh,
the pushback.
you know what?
You
Sometimes
will be displaced, right? But
sometimes the pushback is good, but if you explain it, you ask them, well, whose place who should be in the place?
so I think sometimes, and I just think we don't look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So we just talked about Daniel Phillips, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we even talked about Florida. Well, we've seen, even cricket, we've seen the higher level you go up,
Mm-hmm.
money starts to roll in.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sponsorship money starts to roll in.
Yeah.
Better competition starts to roll in.
Yeah.
More opportunities start to roll in.
Yeah.
So, but that's like I said, that person who's training week to week, who's probably on the fringe of the team, they don't want to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so those are the things that would be interesting to hear. That side of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know we when the BCB put out the strategic plan, was it a 5-year plan per se?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how this is matching up with this particular instance right now. Right now, having an interim head coach, because once again, I don't think we need to have a head coach and have these guys training throughout the year and playing throughout the year. If we're looking to be successful on the international stage.
Sure. Let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have more. We'll be right back.
Every month is snack month for us, it would seem, as long as they're the healthful, guilt-free, delectable snacks we crave. Enter the Daily Crave, a company whose first product was churros, the well-loved Spanish treat, followed by diversification in the form of classic puff snacks and chips. They ventured beyond the traditional list of ingredients. The grains are gone, replaced by lentils, pulses, and cassava, slaking our craving with a vegan-friendly, gluten-free snack that satisfies. This month, we're featuring the Daily Crave Quinoa Bourbon Barbecue Chips. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Welcome back. Well, Jay, of course, we are waiting or hoping that Mr. Waldron can join us. He has reached out to me. I guess as the coach, you're stuck in meetings at these office. He has indicated that he is in a meeting with the other coaches and the board right now, trying to sort out everything because they have to hit the ground running. Literally hit the ground running.
You better hit the ground in like third gear because ain't no time for the first two.
They gotta warm the car.
We ain't got that time, bro. We ain't got that time. We ain't got that time, bro.
They got an Indy car now, ain't it?
No, I mean, so and I was trying to give the opportunity to ask Cal because I've known Cal for years. Just let the public know, what's his background around the setup, around the national team. Um, most people just knew him from PAC, but just let him, and I let him tell his story regarding that. I'll just say from my behalf, Cal's always been committed. And I can go back to our playing days. I mean, I'm not gonna tell those type of stories because he might not like it, but I'll tell you one thing that always stood out. He was committed, right? And to take this role on, number one, you have to be committed. You have to be committed, and because you want your players to be committed, and that is something that hopefully the players will back him. Obviously, the board has backed him. Over the years, has took these coaching badges or the things. So you've seen every time there's a coaching something, his face is there somewhere and around. So he's put the work in. I'm proud of him, and I will say that I definitely am proud of him because I've seen where he's come from. As a player.
Yeah, the good thing is that he has worked with so many people when they were younger.
Yes.
So he can have that relationship. Sometimes in Bermuda, the coach that can put his arm around a player is probably what a player needs. Not always just to be shouted at and sent to him kind of thing. It's that that other type of mentorship that I think Cal has a way of doing that. Of getting through to people. Doesn't always work, but he has that method of getting to the young people or getting even to the senior players, because clearly he's been around long enough that they would have to kind of respect him. Now, when the announcement comes up, you get people calling you and talking about, okay, so where has he been? He hasn't played international. He hasn't played cup match. He hasn't played. Well, we've had those people.
Yeah.
And where are we?
Yeah.
We've been down that road, and where are we?
Well, I'm gonna go back to that word committed, right? I mean, okay, all the years, have you known him? Well, since he moved to PAC, have you known him to play for anybody else besides PAC?
Nope. And he's quietly done things like Warwick. Warwick has had a bunch of youngsters. PAC's had a bunch of youngsters. He's been able to put in some senior players with those young people and help develop and groom them. Two players that in mind that actually came through PAC or played for PAC at some point in time was Delray Rollins.
That's right.
And Kamal Levron.
That's right. At a very, very young age.
Yeah,
absolutely right.
Yeah. So he's had, whether it's been a season, whether it's been half a season, he's had some sort of, influence on them in some way, shape, or form. Whether it be just training, playing at the crease together, burling in tandem. I remember a few years back, I remember watching a game where Cal must have built about 7 straight overs, and I think he gave up 4 runs. Because he was just wicket to wicket. That's all he was doing, and batsmen were getting frustrated, So like you say, he's committed to his game, and now as a coach, you can see he's committed to a team game. But can he get the most out of these senior players that we have? And it'll be interesting to see which senior players they do actually pick.
Well, that would be another thing too. And then, obviously, how many of the overseas players who are, you report on a weekly basis, how many overseas players might be involved in the setup or some are in school. So obviously they'll be out of school, but then they might be actually probably back into preseason training around late August, right? In August, right?
Yeah, but international duty, I think they can get the school wants them to play internationally.
Well, that's true too. School definitely want them to play.
School want them to play internationally.
We want them to play.
Now, here comes another scenario. Okay, so we saw both Delray and Kamal play in Florida, and that was a 2020. That obviously they're getting paid. We know the hundreds coming up. No, Dowry wasn't drafted, but there is another draft to come. If he gets drafted in that, if there's a tournament, another T20 tournament somewhere, and Kamal's invited, and he gets invited to that, what do these players do? Because as you've seen in the West Indies, in Australia, in Sri Lanka, these players are forced to make a decision, and 9 times out of 10, where do they play?
Yeah, it's a hard decision, based on, and probably a lot of them just based on their own financials, right?
Yeah,
Financial standing, right? So if you can afford it, then to not be in it, then I'm pretty sure these guys will play for their countries. But put some food on the table. I mean, sometimes I see both sides.
yes,
And we've heard the arguments both sides, right? But once again, I think so I'm like this. Would I rather have a person on tour with me whose mind is cluttered because he's worrying about financials?
Yeah. You would want that person at ease all around. Yeah.
Especially at a game like cricket. I need you, the mental side, it has to be strong, right? It has to be strong. So, yeah, you might take that person, but if that person's not there mentally and it's thinking about all these other little things, right? I just remember just some of the stories of the contracts in previous tours, right?
Right.
And how, players had to get off from work and not sure they're going to be fully compensated and all these little different things. Their stories haven't gone away.
No.
Right? So that doesn't help going forward.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting because, like you said, but then again, yes, they are probably our top international players as we speak right now. But personally, for me, they're better suited for the 2020 format.
Yes. Yeah.
Both of them, right? Not to say they can't play 50. They can. They can play open cricket too,
Yeah.
But then again, our pool is small. So I think we'll probably just need all hands on deck. If we can get whoever.
But one of the things I would say before we go is that we have to respect the decision that the person makes because you don't know what's going on outside the sport.
I'm glad you said that, Earl, because let me show you what's going to happen. Because we see it in football, we see it in cricket, right? So the team will get, there'll be a team invite for training, right? There'll be an invite for training. You'll see, 30-odd, 40-odd names.
30-odd,
right? Then they have to cut down. Then you have the squad that gets picked to travel. The second that squad is picked, how come we ain't got our best players out there? How come so in there? How come da? The second that team is picked, I don't care what sport it is, we don't send out best players. I'm going to say this here because I'm going to go back to what I mentioned about Cal. Did they commit?
Yeah. Or did they have some other reason why they couldn't commit?
Commit.
Yeah.
Rather, it's a good reason or not, it's still commitment, right? So whatever team we take, we as a country, we have to stand behind it because these are the people who, once again, like Daniel Phillips, he's representing us. They're representing us.
Yeah.
So, and they've committed to whatever training they're going to be put through their paces right now.
Yeah.
To whatever camp.
I know you and I always have this conversation, and I always say we can only support the people that are out there representing us. The people that chose not to, then they need to answer those questions on their own. But we need to give the support to the people that have made the team, who are out there. They might not be the most talented, but guess what? They put their hand up and say, you know what? I'll give it a try. So I'm willing to follow the rules, regulations, and everything. I'm willing to give it a try.
And I want to extend that also to the coaching staff, Earl, because once again, that's a commitment for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I want to commend the likes of Reggie Tucker and Ricky Hill and this gentleman, Elliot Wilson. I want to commend them because they've raised their hand.
Yeah.
They put their name forward. I'm pretty sure the board's done the due diligence of vetting and all the things, the criteria that they needed. But once again, there's something that we have to commend the folks who actually make the commitment.
Yep.
Without all the outside noise.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I would love to know more information, obviously, but until it comes, and I'm pretty sure before coming.
Let's see if we can get Cal for next week, so he can he can.
I had a rough week, man. A lot of meetings, man.
Comes with the territory. It's not just only field, and that's what a lot of other people don't understand. The amount of we've had the women's national coach on, we've had the national coaches on in football, and constantly they're meeting with other coaches and captains and medical people, and because it's so much that goes on, we're trying to get a professional layout out of the amateurs who have so many other commitments. You know what I mean? They don't have the luxury of the English Premier Division teams. They don't have that. I mean, we're trying to emulate it, but the time that they spend doing that's a work hour. That's work hours.
So Earl, let me see if you can follow me. Let me see if you can follow me, because I know you're a former teacher, right? Let me see if you can follow me. And this is what a lot of people don't understand, right? So even as a teacher in our public, or any teacher in a public system or even private system, most people just look at the 8 hours or so that they're with the kids.
Yep.
What they don't understand is the lesson plans.
Yep.
And all those things that go before you get to the class.
Yep.
But guess what? Coaches too. They have to come up with these plans, these training regimes and game plans and scenarios and all these things. Plus training, plus the game. So it's not just what you see at face value. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that a lot of people don't understand, and that is time. And by the way, we got a meeting, and we got a meeting.
And don't forget, tomorrow you got to go to work.
Oh, you didn't know?
I got to throw that in.
Oh, you didn't know? Oh, hold on. You got to come and cook dinner too, right?
Sure. You still got a role to play.
Yeah, you still got to cut the grass. The grass is high today, mate.
Finding the time, mate. Finding the time.
I like I said, to hear some of these guys' stories, man, and they only do it because of the passion that they have for the sport, the love that they have for the sport, and I salute them. I definitely salute them.
Definitely. Well, we can. We'll be back next week, Wednesday, for another edition of the Untitled Sports Show. Like I said, we would try to see if we can get Cal on next week. We should have members of the CLGP on as well, talking about the upcoming weekend racing. So should be an interesting week.
Yeah, definitely interesting week. And I saw the release today from the BFA regarding the awards. I'll be there next week. I believe next week.
No, Saturday night.
Saturday night. Yeah, so next week. Saturday coming. Jeez.
Saturday coming.
These weeks are going by so fast.
Happy New Year, brother. 2023.
Let me see if I put you on the spot.
What's that?
Player of the year, coach of the year. Quick.
BFA. To tell you the truth, I can't even say because I didn't look at the list. I didn't, and I'll tell you why I didn't look at the list, because I always get frustrated at any association that does this. So earlier in the day, they published or released that the Women's League is starting on Friday. Right? Okay, so they released that. On top of that, they come out with another release, the same organization. One of those two will be lost. Which one do you think will be lost tomorrow? They created it. Why couldn't one of those two come out yesterday and the other one come out today? You're creating an atmosphere, but you're killing yourself in the sport because you're putting one on top of each other. And did you see there's games on Saturday night? The same organizations having their prize presentation, and they're having games on that night. Just food for thought, brother. Food for thought. Sort it out. Bite your lip. Bite your lip. Yeah.
Oh, Bermuda Day is coming. And cricket season's coming.
Well, both of them better hurry up. We need something to talk about.
Cricket season's coming, man. I feel it. Easter Con is coming, man.
Okay.
The chance for St. George's to win cup match this year. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, every year we got a chance.
50-50.
At 10 o'clock Thursday morning, it's 50-50. Now, what happens throughout those 2 days?
Everybody thinks they'll win at 10 o'clock, in it.
Yeah.
Hey, Earl, you're so correct. It's unbelievable because, broadcasting these games, it lasts, well, I can't lost count now, but man, it to see, because I'm normally on the wicket, so I've got people on the left and people on the right. Sometimes I got people on the left and the right in the same camp, and they're all excited for that first ball.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. This is our year.
Come the first hour, then somebody's quiet, then they might switch, and then they might come back.
The first day, the first morning section, the game swings all over the place.
Yeah, but
it's that middle section.
That's that afternoon session on that second day.
Well, we haven't gotten there in how many years?
Well, like I said, most people it's one people talking, right? That's when that little 50-50 changes just
drastically. No, drastically. People sit with their backs to the field.
No, but it'd be nice. It'd be nice. I think by the time next week, hopefully, we will have with the league starting. We could probably even talk about some of the guys who are moving around a bit. We know a few have already been confirmed, but hopefully the official list of everybody would have surfaced by then.
Sure.
And we can have a little talk on it.
Sure.
All right. Saying that, buddy.
See you next week.
Peace.
Yes.